Hi, it's Tanya here from A Child-Free Happily Ever After. And I'm really excited to be bringing a new series of stories to you called My Child-Free Why. Now, you might have seen some of the ones that I've done in the past, which has been talking to and having conversations with child-free men and women and talking about what their experience has been about not having children. So I've decided to continue the series and talk to some child-free men and women that I know that are in my community, and just talk to them about what their story has been and what their circumstances are and how that's impacted their life. Now, I am super stoked to be talking to Veronica today. Now, Veronica is a guest contributor to A Child-Free Happily Ever After. If you have not seen her fantastic articles, please go to the blog and check them out on the website. And, you know, I just love having people from all over the world and with different perceptions and different challenges and circumstances sharing their story as part of the community. So Veronica is on the other side of the world from me today. So I am sitting here in Brisbane, Australia, and she is in Seattle in the USA. So welcome, Veronica.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm excited to be here.
So great to actually be chatting face to face finally.
Exactly. We've emailed for so long and now we get to talk.
I know. The beauty of technology.
Oh, it's the best.
So would you like to just introduce yourself and just tell people a little bit about your circumstances?
Definitely. So as you mentioned, my name's Veronica. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I have been married to my wonderful husband for 3 years, and we have 3 cats together. And just really enjoy spending time with him, with our friends, and being able to be spontaneous and travel. I mean, not right now, obviously.
Yeah. Travel when we can, exactly.
Yeah, when we can travel again, we are going to travel so much.
I know. We just got back from an amazing holiday, and then we had to go into quarantine. But I'm literally like planning my next trip as soon as we're allowed to go. It's like, right, where can we go and what can we do?
That's exactly how we are too.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's start with sharing your story. So tell us why you didn't want to have children.
So growing up, having kids was never something that I even thought about. I wasn't a little kid that had my baby dolls that I took care of or anything like that. I had my little ponies, a lot of them, and they liked to go on adventures. And so that to me was what being a grown-up was going and having adventures, and that's what I wanted. And then as I, got into my 20s and started working in my field, I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't in any kind of substantial romantic relationship that I'd want to have children in. But then people started to ask me the question, well, when are you having children? And I thought it was kind of a crazy question because here I was like living paycheck to paycheck, basically single. Why would I want to have a child? What about my lifestyle makes me look like that seems like a great idea? But people would just rebuff me and say, oh, well, you'll change your mind. And I never did. And so for me, I started becoming a little bit more outspoken about my choice to be child-free because I realized that there are these men and women in the community who need some validation that this is an okay choice and this is a valid choice. And there's no reason that you have to follow this one cookie cutter timeline of what your life is supposed to look like.
Yeah. When you started to voice how you were feeling and so forth, did that present some challenges to you from family, friends, or just people that you work with and so forth who wanted to obviously probably tell you you were wrong about your choice? But what sort of challenges did you have when you started to be quite vocal about it?
It was actually interesting. The more close a person was to me, the more accepting they were of the choice. My parents have never pressured me. They've been amazing about the topic. But, casual coworkers, acquaintances, people I'm talking to in a bar, they seem to be really invested. And I think a lot of it is that they had kids, and so they wanted me in their camp, and I just couldn't get around it. But the thing that actually that completely shifted my mindset was I have a friend who desperately wanted kids. It was the thing that she had wanted since she was a child, and for the longest time she was not able to. And I saw the questions that I was getting asked and they annoyed me, but I saw the questions presented to her and it just crushed her. And that was kind of what shifted my mindset into, we need to be talking about why these questions aren't okay, because it's nobody's business unless you're, forthcoming about it.
Look, I found a similar circumstance, and I think a lot of people can relate to what you've just said around, family and friends being accepting, but total strangers having this strong viewpoint. And it's sort of like, well, how does my life choices impact your life in any way? But I think you're right. I think some of that is, well, we did it, so you have to be as miserable as us. Like,
exactly. You cannot be happy.
I know. And I find that really bizarre that people that don't even know you or barely know you have such strong opinions about a choice that you've made for your life. I can never fathom that.
It's really interesting. I had a coworker a couple of years ago who has 5 children, and when she asked me, and they always assume it's not, do you want kids? It's, when are you having kids? And when I said I didn't want them, she just said, oh, it just makes me so sad that you feel that way. I'm like, why does that make you sad? Be sad about something a little bit more important.
Yeah, it's I know. I just I think maybe they love it so much so they think, well, everyone's going to love it, and that's certainly not the case, as we know. Okay, has there been any other sort of challenges in terms of how that, has that decision impacted anything in your career, other relationships, or any of that sort of stuff, or that's all been okay?
It's been kind of interesting in the last few years. So I'm 35. So you'd think by now that the people in my friend group, if they had planned kids, it would have happened already. But everyone that I'm friends with seems to be having their children later in life, which is probably smart. But it's really changed my friendship dynamics in the last couple of years. So that's been an adjustment. Like, I've really had to, pay attention to mom things that I wouldn't normally care about, because I want to be, supportive of them, and I want to be able to have empathy for their situation, even though I have no idea what they're going through. So it's kind of pushed me to look at it in a different way. Like, I want to be able to be vocal about what works for me and why I made the choices that I make, but I don't want to hurt a friend in the process. So I really have to have that balance of, I realize that this is working for you and it's good. It doesn't work for me. And no, I don't want to hold your baby because I'm afraid of them.
Yes, I must admit, I do not apologize for the fact that I don't want to hold someone's newborn. And I say to people, you know me, I'm not going to change. I'm not interested in holding your baby. Congratulations. But, and look, it is, and I think it's that balance of still being a supportive friend, without having to go, all in and go, well, I have to listen to this, constantly as part of conversations, or I have to, be around them all the time and so forth. So I think that can be difficult to have. I've got I've got plenty of friends that have got kids and friends that don't. And the friends that I have that do have children have always been very supportive of my choice and my lifestyle as well. So I think it's only fair that I do the same in return. But I quite enjoy spending time with them and their kids in a limited form.
Same. I love my friends' kids. Yeah. They make me so happy. Last weekend.
It's a novelty for us, right?
Yeah. Last weekend was my husband's birthday. And we went on a walk around our neighborhood, and we saw one of our neighbors who's also a friend, and her little girl sang him happy birthday from across the way. And it was so sweet. And I love their children. I just can't imagine being responsible for a child all the time, like the little bits, and I'm good.
Yeah, I agree. Small doses is relatively good.
Exactly.
So let's sort of end with the final question that I want to ask is, what do you love most about being child-free?
The freedom to be spontaneous. I love being able to decide on a whim that I'm going to book a trip, or that I'm going to go out to dinner and have a few too many drinks. And I just love being able to make choices that work for me without having to worry about how they're going to impact someone who has no say in the matter, because kids really don't. Whatever their parents decide is what they have to go along with. And I just love not having to worry about that. I love only having to worry about what works for my lifestyle.
Yeah, and look, I think one of the criticisms that a lot of child-free people get is the fact that they want to call that selfish. I do not think that is selfish in any way. I think that is just called living your life. And yeah, so it's an interesting criticism, I find. But like, I think they're great choices. I love the freedom as well. So thank you very much for sharing your child-free why. And being open and honest about your experiences, Veronica. I really do appreciate it. I love having these conversations.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. This has been such an amazing experience.
Thank you, and we will no doubt be talking again soon.
That sounds wonderful.
Thank you. Bye.